Hello. It's been a few days. I think. I feel like 619 is in my head for some reason, but let me see. Let me see real quick. It is warm. And this 20 hours of pure white screen doesn't make it any less warm. In fact, it makes it warmer. But I figured I don't know, I would be like visible or like seen. Because if I take it off, then it makes it difficult for you to see me. Excuse me. 619 was the last one. Okay. That was 4 days ago. It's been 4 days since I've been live. What? I would say that I've enjoyed the break, but honestly, I've been asleep. I come home, I've been watching somebody play video games. I'm doing well, I think. I am. How are you? I'll come home and just like fight to stay awake until I finally give up and go to sleep. It was like that for a few days. I don't know if it was the astrological weather that just made me like so tired. I don't know if it's this heat kicking in. You're okay? I feel that. But I think I know what the second phase of my Saturn return is going to be. It hit me today. Keep in mind, Saturn is like, it went retrograde like less than 2 degrees. It might have been like 2 degrees from my. So I'm already within a like degree and a half orb. So yeah, this heat is not great. I don't know because I know it was a minute ago. They were like some parts of Texas and maybe California, like it was gonna shut down again because of the heat, like the power grids or whatever. And I know I have a friend who stays in Vegas, and I think theirs was like, I was like, oh my gosh. And then one of my friends, her power went out for like 2 days. I was like, oh my gosh. And the heat. And then last night, the air kicked off, and I guess it ain't working. But I don't get air back in my room anyway, so it's pretty much the same back here. But the second round, I think the second round of my Saturn return is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what round 3 brings. You just got an alert to conserve power. Oh my gosh. I feel like we should have power technology that lets us stay cool in the summer because it's like 2022. And I just feel like that should be a thing. But also, there are many reasons why it isn't probably, and I don't know them. So. And I had a dream last night. I had a dream I was waiting on a bus to go to Tottenham Court, and London is my dream city. So every now and then I'll dream that I'm in a city and it'll be London. Oh, snap. Oh. I don't even know why I'm shuffling this deck. Oh. Well, this is the bottom of the deck, so I got the title card literally at the bottom of the deck because I'm like, what's this about? Title card. I'm like, oh, okay, well. Um, but I had a dream I was waiting on the bus to Tottenham Court, and I was like, all I got to do is wait here. Eventually, one of these buses is going to take me there. And I was looking at the map to see, like, which one is like on the way. Yeah, that's why I don't like the summer. Call me a control freak. Because, like you said, in the winter, you can just put on layers. You can bundle up, get under the cover, get the blankets, get the quilts, get the heavy stuff, boil water. But in the summer, it's like I can't take off my skin and remove all my little heat sensing nerves or whatever. I'm better at tolerating heat now, though, because I've had to be. So the key has been hydration. I was not hydrating before and regretting it. I've been overly hydrating now. So in the dream, I'm waiting on the bus and I see my friend Jean Luc, and I haven't seen Jean Luc in a minute. But I'm like, Jean Luc, what are you doing here? I forget what he was doing there. And then, like, I guess it was a train because I was waiting on the bus. But if I think I was waiting on a bus at a train crossing. So I was at the train platform waiting on a bus. So now that I think about it, I'm like, no wonder why I didn't find a bus. But there was this train platform with like this set of rails, that set of rails, and then there's like platforms on both sides. And there was a bridge apparently between the platforms, and he walked to the other side, like pulled a switch or something, and then came back. And I remember thinking, like, how did he get to the other side? Like, you can't just walk over that. And it was the overground. It wasn't even the below ground train. And then, so I'm still sitting there waiting, and there's a train on the other side that says Tottenham Court, and I was like, it's supposed to be on this side. That's weird. So I'm like, you know what? And then I saw like other people starting to move. I was like, I'm not gonna make that train before it takes off. Ain't no way. Now, well, I guess the train had pulled up, so even if that bridge was still there, the train would be in the way. But if the bridge was there, maybe it would have taken me to the door. I don't know. Anyway, so I turned and I started to walk because it had been a few trains and I didn't find the bus I was looking for. And then I see these purple lines on the floor. I'm like, oh snap, it's the Elizabeth line. I was like, I can just get on the Elizabeth line, be there quick, and it'll be comfortable. Like I know I'll be comfortable, and it'll take me exactly where I want to go, where I want to go, where I want to go. Um, but I guess that's interesting because that takes me back to what there are two things that my world is teaching me right now. Two things that I am being taught by the universe. One of them is the importance of movement. And I was talking with my journey buddy about how, like, I'll be somewhere, I'll be doing something. I told Reem about one of them, and then I'll have a feeling to like stop, or something will tell me to just stop, and I'll look somewhere and I'll see something. Um, and my journey buddy was that's the thing about movement. And then I was like, I should stop more often. And then she was like, yeah, but I think the key is also to move. Like you're not just like not going anywhere and not doing anything. I was like, thank you, because I would just literally sit here. I would literally sit here and be like, okay, like when is it coming? And it's like, you gotta move, girl. I'm like, oh, what? Okay, bet. Like, fine. Like, no one told me I had to actually like do stuff. Um, and so like I was sitting there, I was standing there waiting for the bus to roll up on some train tracks. And then as soon as I get up and move, I'm like, oh, like that is not what I was looking for. Much more convenient and quicker. Perfect. I don't know what that means. Honestly. I don't. The other thing that my universe is teaching me right now is that if I ask for something, it will be given to me. Um, and I've had a number of experiences that continue to happen. Um, and that all sort of like, so the first part of the year, I'd say like, especially like January, it was heavy, heavy January to like March. Went into May. Now it's sort of like petering out as I transition into my next Saturn retrograde lesson. My next Saturn return lesson, because my Saturn is at 23 degrees Aquarius. So I'm in the midst of a triple Saturn return because retrogrades. And the first part was like self restrictions, self boundaries, the ways that I sell myself short, the ways I limit my own experience. It was like, it's okay for a dream to change. It's like, do this, do that, blah, 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 whatever. And I did that. And then today, for some reason, so in my personal life, I'm experiencing how much I don't want what I thought I wanted. And it's not in a cruel or malicious or judgmental way. It's just like, yeah, that's not for me. This is not for me. It's not my vibe. Like, I could try to get into it. I could try to play along. I could try to like fit in, but I already know it's not for me. I already know that these are like this is the type of situation that I don't like to be in, and I don't really pull anything out of it, or I don't get anything out of it. So like, let me not even worry about it. So in that way, thank you, because rejection truly is God's protection sometimes. Because I'm like, ooh, girl. I'm just like, oh, I wanted that. um, and again, not to be mean or cruel, or it's just like it's not for me. And I feel like things always sort of work out, and the way it worked out, I actually like it. Um, but anyway, after that, kind of sort of hit me. I mean, it's been hitting me for a minute. I got a lot of Taurus in my chart, so my skull is a little thick. So sometimes it takes a few times. Um, but then I went like full singy, and I was in there like I had the lab to myself for a hot second. So I was like, first I was whistling, and then I was like humming, and then I started singing. And then the words that came, the question popped into my mind. It's like, is being unchanged the same as being free? And I was like, ooh. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, like there are situations where like people have been unchained, and just because they're unchained doesn't necessarily mean that they're free. But then it's like, well, you have invisible chains where like even though the chains aren't chains that you can see, like there can still be chains. And I was gonna ask somebody, I was gonna be like, can I ask you a philosophical question? Like, is being unchained the same as being free? And then as my brain was doing that, and as I was going to the restroom because I've been drinking so much water, I had the realization. I was like, I feel like I'm unchained, but I'm not necessarily free. And then I thought back to everything that I've been considering inside of my comfort zone. And I was like that sort of like highlights and illuminates that. So like the first half of the year, my first Saturn return lesson was like, you know, these chains no longer hold you. And I was like, okay. And then I was living life a little bit unchained. I was living life pretty much unchained. Like that was part of the process too, towards the end, especially. But today was like, I still don't necessarily feel free. And it's not that I don't feel free. It's more so the choices, and more than the choices, I think the way that I process through some life stuff right now with finding another job, potentially relocating and things like that. I'm getting more and more towards that free side because of the boredom and everything else before. Like I've been nudged towards this every time I get on here, and I'm like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about. I want to do something that I actually care about. I want to take the initiative in some area of my life rather than just like doing the next thing or sitting and waiting for something to come along and then just doing that, which is fine. But that's not what I want right now. And it's not where I feel I'm being sort of led. I'm a manifester, my human design. So it's to initiate and inform is my strategy. So I need to start initiating in my life. I'm at a path one in this phase of my life, and everything kind of sort of makes sense in a beautiful synchronistic way that I never would have foreseen a few years ago. With like this past year, yeah, I could see it. Ever since May of 2020, I've been coming around to it. But before that, I'd be like, no. So anyway, with that, it was like, I want to step out, but I want to be safe. I want to do this, but I still want to have that, whatever. And I was talking to my journey buddy about that the last time we talked. Um, Again, like I know not everyone has a journey buddy, but I really wish that more people did because having a journey buddy is amazing. I love it. Um, and ooh, okay, maybe this is making sense. This is making sense now. So I was just shuffling up the Tarot Nefertari because I have it. And the Emperor, the Nine of Swords, and the Tower came out. And I was like, what's this about? And I look at the bottom of the deck and it's the title card. So I'm like, okay, no context. Thanks. Love it. But anyway, it's a lot of like, and again, it's something I talked with my journey buddy about recently. It's a lot of like, if I do this, then I'll have this safety net. If I do this, then like it's close enough. And it's like this whole time while I've been in the latter half of my first Saturn return lesson, like part of it, like if I ask, it'll be given to me. Um, it's like I know that no matter what I do, I'll be fine. And then my journey buddy was like that's the safety net. Like knowing that you're gonna be okay no matter what, no matter where you go, like that's where your safety is. Your safety isn't necessarily at home in your room where you can venture out but still have the, you know, everybody like right here, just in case. And I'm talking to another one of my friends who's going through a significant transformation in his life. And he was talking about sort of like wanting to move out, but not wanting to move out because of the support that he's getting from his family, like mentally, emotionally, and how he needs that right now for him to navigate whatever he's navigating, but um, still wanting to like be independent or more independent on his own in his own place. I was like, I get it. It is. And I'm grateful to have one because I know that it can be the case. And like it can be the case where a lot of people like sort of believe that or they say that. And I'm not gonna say that just because you always say, oh, it's like lonely, you're gonna outgrow this, like no one's gonna be able to be there with you through this, and that, and blah blah blah, whatever. I'm not gonna say if you speak it, that's the experience you're gonna continue to have, but it's just never been my experience. Um, I went through my darkest night alone. I started alone, but a few weeks after that happened, my journey buddy, who was a really good friend before she graduated, we got in contact. We were catching up, and we found out like we had went through our dark nights like at the same time. Both sort of like went through similar ish things, like not really, but there are like parallels. Like we can relate to one another even if our experiences aren't like super similar. And she said she was like doing all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, me too. And then like whole thing. So from the beginning of my journey, like she's been there, she's been doing hers. And I remember at like when we were both in school one night, I randomly woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, could not go back to sleep. And I was like, well, I'm going to walk to the water fountain and just sit out there for a minute because I used to do that sometimes. So I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, literally 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I'm walking to the fountain, and then I hear Patrick, and I'm like, Journey buddy? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what are you doing out here? Well, she was like, what are you doing out here at 3 in the morning? I was like, I literally just woke up and I came to the fountain because I couldn't go back to sleep. And she was there. She was like crying. And she was like going through it that night. She didn't have a great night and she was waiting for her boyfriend to come and he was drunk. Um, and so we like chatted for a little bit before he came, and then they went back and she was like, you want to come with us? I was like, oh no, I'm fine, like I'm gonna stay at the fountain for a little bit longer. But it was just like weird how like she was there and then I just like randomly wake up and I'm like, oh, let me go to the fountain. But like when we talk about it now, it's like we've always sort of been on this path together, even when we didn't know that we were on the path together. So when we reconnected after our darkest nights, like it was like, okay, hey Ariel, how are you doing? I'll call her my journey buddy because she's like we like that's what she literally is. She's on her journey, I'm on my journey, and we're journey buddies. Like we journey together through all of the shifts and change and phases and transformations and transitions. Like she's continued to shift and change and go through her stuff, and I go through my stuff, and somehow we're really good at holding space for one another. Um, and we're good at reminding each other of things, and in a way, like holding each other accountable, but not really. We just remind each other of the truths that we've discovered along the way. So whenever challenge arises, we hold space and we do stuff and blah blah blah, you know. So it's real cute. I love her. I love her. She's honestly, if I didn't have her, I feel like my journey would be very different. Because in the beginning, there were some times I felt like I would experience something and it would kind of like it wouldn't rock me, but I would be like um a little like kind of lost. And then I talk to her and I tell her about it and she'd be like, Patrick, like you already know what to do. Like you've already like been through this. I was like, oh wait, yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. That's why for 2020 or 2021, my word was integrate. Because I would go through these things, I would learn a lesson, and then life would happen and I would forget it. And I was like, I'm tired of doing that. I don't want to do that anymore. So we're going to make my word integrate. We're going to focus on integrating the lessons so that when the situation happens, the information is there. And it's like, oh, okay, I know how to navigate this because I'm tired of running in circles. Like, but that's, what do you call it? The thing that turns rotational movement into linear movement. I forget what it's called. Gear, crank. I don't remember. Very emotional. Oof. Is it the transits? Is it the solstice or the Schumann or something? I'm doing pretty well. I'm going through Saturn has revealed to me what the second phase of my return is gonna be. Not a grinder. It's it's something and something. Rack and pinion. That's what it is. It's a rack and pinion. And the rack and pinion, it changes rotational movement to linear movement. Yeah. I'll Google it on my phone so you can see what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Dreams has been kind of all over the place though. I think Jupiter is supposed to retrograde like Tuesday or something like that. Okay. None of these are. Here we go. Thank you. I was like, none of these are the picture that I want. And you literally just showed it to me. Okay, let's see if I can't. Oh, ah, stop. Here we go. Maybe this would be better. It's this. That's a rack and pinion. So it's like this is the wheel, but with this piece, you can actually move forward. So even though it might be doing this, it doesn't, it's not stationary. because the interlocking of the teeth actually moves it to the next one. That's what I was thinking about. You ain't been sick since 2018. Oh, snap. Not even a cold. It's the solstice, the trans, it's the baby, all of it. Oof. You got the flu? Oh, that's why you said you haven't been sick since 2018. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get to rest and like take care of yourself and drink plenty of fluids. Yeah. Speaking of seeing things in your mind, I might do the rainbow reading from the Pride Tarot because there's just something about me. It's like a person in water slash a water sign in water slash a Pisces in water. And it's not like, so like if I go to the bathroom, that's like, oh, Pisces around water. Um, and I can't remember if I closed my eyes or if I just blinked, but I saw a rainbow. And I was like, that's weird. I don't usually just see rainbows. And then when I got home and I pulled up, my phone was on my lap. And I look at my phone and like there was a rainbow on my phone. I was like, okay. So I could do the rainbow reading. I might do the rainbow reading. Um, Purge your left and right. Doing all the stuff. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. That makes sense. I know I've just been like exhausted and sleeping a lot. I come home, I'm like I've been watching somebody play The Quarry on YouTube, and I'm like dozing. I opened my eyes, it was 8 o'clock. I feel like I was asleep for like 2 hours. And then I'm like, oh no, I took a nap. Like I'm gonna be up all night. Nope. Sleep through the night, wake up still tired. I'm like, and I'm like, I need sugar. Like I'll be at work and just like crash. And I haven't been eating a lot of sugar. And I was like, I feel like if I get sugar, like it'll give me some kind of energy. Um, you took a picture of the kids at school yesterday, and there's a rainbow across all of them. Oh snap! Is the rainbow kids about to do something? Your kids rainbows? You got rainbow children? Children. So yeah, this tower is interesting. Speaking of phones, I think that is um let me give me I'm gonna just pull one card. I'm gonna pull this one. It's the magician. Okay. Um the universe is doing some very interesting things right now. One interesting thing in particular that I'm noticing, and I'm just like, what? Like, why is this happening? And so I'm like, is there anything that I can do to help? Because my universe is like singing and screaming and dancing, heralding the coming of something. And then I had a thought. And I'm like, okay. And then I had a dream, and Athena was in my dream. And I don't remember. Like, I feel like she was sitting somewhere, and I recognized her. And I was like, Athena? Like, what are you doing here? I was like, at first, I was like, Athena, is that you? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, like, what are you doing here, though? Like, I don't know. Don't ask me. You've definitely slept a bunch. Yeah. Oh snap! Oh snap! Look at that. See, there you go, Ario. You got there. I knew you would. You knew you would. We all knew you would. I'm proud of you. Also, I can't imagine just like being around and in all that energy. So if you're like super emotional and stuff, like I'm not gonna say that could play a part, but I wouldn't be surprised. The Five of Cups and the Five of Wands. Five of water, five of fire. This is interesting because it feels like these two individuals are making way for this. Like he is carrying it on his back so that it doesn't touch the water. And it feels like he is like clearing the way, like getting this person out of the way before they come. Like the procession of this thing shouldn't be stopped. And it makes me think of Bahubali when Devsina was walking around the thing. And it was like, do not stop her. Like the walk was sacred. There was some sacred walk that she was doing. Oops. The bottom of the deck is the Queen of Chalices with the child on the lap. Oh, snap. The King and Queen of Chalices is at the bottom of the deck. But they're not facing each other because it's not like the King and the Queen. It was the Queen and then the King. The King of Chalices almost looks like a temperance energy in this deck. And whoever's in this five, it's like it's keeping the thing out of the water. It almost makes me think of like um when you clean a fish's fish tank. When you clean a fish tank, so you have to put the fish in a bowl and get them like out of the tank so you can clean the tank, and then after you clean the tank you put them back in the bowl. But when you do that, it's like you take the water from the tank with the fish. It's not like you pour up some like fresh water and you put the fish in that, because that is water that the fish is already acclimated to. It's already acclimatized, it's already like chill. And it's almost like to put it in something completely new would be one shock, and then to put it back would be another one. But it's like if you use the same water, I don't know if you would put the same water back into the tank after you clean it. But if it's only a little bit of water, then it's like it would balance out. So maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You be busy over there. You stay busy. Who said that Tauruses don't do nothing? Ariel said, I will prove you wrong. I do everything all the time. The Nine of Wands, Justice, and the Three of Wands under the King and the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But the thing about the Tower that's so interesting It's like it feels like this person is pushing the tower this way so that this doesn't fall and crush them. Because it feels like if they push this way, this would just like fall right on top of them. So he's pushing it this way to get it to fall back. I don't know if he's going to handle it, but he can at least see it. Well, he ain't necessarily looking up, but they definitely ain't looking up. But I feel like in order for him to do that, he has to rely on them actually pushing it back this way so that he doesn't crush them. Because what good would it do for him to help them avoid that if he just crushes them with this? And so that makes me think of that temperance energy again. Tempered strength just came out though. And tempered strength is doing exactly how much is necessary or in the ballpark. That's your fire placement. It's also the projector human design type. Oh. Taurus me is laying on the couch right now. Okay. Well, my fire, I've come into my fire. About moving between frequencies. I actually had a dream that I was at, it was a while ago. I had a dream that I was at my old dorm and we were cleaning the fish tank. And like, I don't know if I recorded it. I had to like move the fish from one bowl to another or something like that. I gotta go to the restroom. I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been sipping water too. So, oh, come on. Hey, let me see. If I search fish, did that say Guatemala? Oh no. I was like, I'm pretty sure I haven't had a dream about Guatemala. Hold up, wait. That is definitely not the dream. What? I'm like talking about this dream and I'm writing, like I'm using language that I don't even think I knew at this point. I'm like, what? I did what? Because I feel like I really didn't know about this at this point. So this is January 9th, 2019. Like that is very, very, very early in my journey. But apparently not, because the language that I'm using makes sense. Oh, snap. I don't know. I thought I recorded that dream because I feel like I read it recently, but maybe not. All right, I got to go to the restroom. So, sleeping, craving sweets, and oh my gosh, that is literally me. I'm like, I don't know if I'm like burning energy right now or something. And so, like, also, I haven't been eating a ton. And so, I don't know if it's like I'm not putting enough into my body for it to like energetically sustain itself. You know what I mean? Like, just calorically. So I've been sleeping. I don't know, but I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, I got the all winter oracle, so I'm gonna use it because it was sitting here. Why not? I don't know. I feel like the rainbow thing. Yeah, and mhm. Boom, 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 boom. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Divination and no is a good thing. No, most definitely is a good thing. No is a great thing sometimes. Sometimes no is what you need. Well, sometimes no is what you want when you think you want a yes. And it's like, oof. Thank you for the no. I will gratefully and graciously accept that no. I guess let's get one of these. I feel like that was quick. Memories. Fight or flight is at the bottom of the deck. Memories. That makes me think of the memory keeper, which is the Six of Cups. So I'm going to look before and after the Six of Chalices in this deck. If I can find it. Six of Swords. Six of Pentacles. Is there a Six of Chalices? Six of Chalices. It's in between the Queen of Wands and the Seven of Wands. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Queen of Wands, Seven of Wands. See again. It's a little different, but I feel like something is similar or much of the same. Like it feels like in the Seven of Wands, the person is checking to see if there are any threats before the queen like comes this way. Like he's preceding the queen to make sure that she'll be safe or whatever. I mean, she can defend herself ultimately, but she shouldn't have to because she's the queen. You know what I mean? That's what you get footmen and soldiers and bodyguards and knights for, or whatever. And it's interesting that it's crocodile. It's also interesting that the water is here again. So maybe this is the reason why that that other card, what was it? The Five of Chalices. That's the reason why the Five of Chalices was carrying the baby cow on its back through the water because of the gators. Why is this making me think of Joaquin Joaquin and the turtle? Knight of Pentacles is at the bottom. I don't know. Neptune is in Pisces. Jupiter is about to retrograde in Pisces. I'm a Pisces. My Mercury is in Pisces. I'm like, wait. I'm like, what's a dream and what was reality? So basically, speaking of turtles, somebody we were talking about horror movies today and how I don't particularly enjoy them. My horror movie tolerance has increased dramatically within the past like 2 to 3 years specifically for reasons. But I was talking about how I watched the movie It with some coworkers one summer, and two of them were just like screaming the whole time. And so I was laughing because they were screaming. It was entertaining. And like they knew when some of the jump scares were coming. They was like, "Oh, it's about to be a jump scare. It's about to be a jump scare." And then the jump scare happened and they still screamed. That's why it was funny to me. But she was talking about how in the book for it, she was talking about how like all of the Steven Universe novels are in the same interconnected universe. And she was like, in the book, there's this like omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, whatever turtle. And I was like, oh, I read about the turtle. And now I'm like, oh, this is making me think of Joaquin and the turtle. So, from what I know from, I think David Little Elk, or I think it's David Little Elk on YouTube. I was in Lakota, I think, um, Sioux period of time for a few weeks, and I was listening to him. Um, the Stephen King multiverse. Yeah, I know you read Stephen King. She was like, "Have you read it?" I was like, "I don't read, sweetie. I don't read. I want to. I want to get back into reading. Actually, I when I was a kid, I loved reading, but then I got Nintendo, and that changed real quick. Um, but basically, like Joaquin is chasing out the darkness. She is the light that chases out the darkness. And oh, this is funny because we was talking about that nine of was it the nine of fire and like scorpionic energy, like below, like at the I just short circuited at the level of water where light doesn't penetrate. So beyond light's ability to penetrate water, this is a whole nother theme, not theme, but a series of thinkings that I had in the last few days that I did not come on and talk about because I was asleep or fighting sleep. So she can't go into the water. The darkness flees into the water. When Kinyan sees the turtle that goes in the water, and she's like, "It's my job to take care of that, but I can't go there. But you can go there. So can you do that for me?" And the turtle's like, "Yeah, I could do that for you, sure. But what's in it for me? What does the turtle get? You're asking me to do this work without any benefit or whatever." And she's like, "Okay, if you do this for me, then I will do something for you." And the turtle says, "Okay." And so the turtle takes the light into the water so that through the turtle, Wakinyan can help purify the darkness or the shadow or whatever it was. From my recollection of it, could be completely incorrect. But that's what this is making me think of. Like she's actually sending him into the water to take care of the crocodiles that she can't take care of for whatever reason. I think Eve was under the earth. Was it Danielle or Steph that was under the water? I don't remember. Under the sea. It's the Scorpio South Node and that full moon in Scorpio that we just had. No, that was a minute ago. The full moon in Scorpio was a lunar eclipse, and that was a second ago. That was quick. And it's this Knight of Pentacles. This Knight of Pentacles flipped out before. I mean, it was at the bottom of the deck under whatever the card was at the bottom that I pulled. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's the Knight of Cups. My bad. Is that the Emperor again? It is. This is one of the most interesting. This is one of the more interesting Four of Cups cards I have. This is the Knight of Pentacles. It's the Knave. It's the page. We saw the Knight before. This is interesting. The cards that flipped over, it's the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Wands. But this Knight of Cups and Ten of Wands is interesting. This makes me think of the Tower. But it's like, so there were three figures that we saw in the Tower. It feels like the two that we can't see are like spirit or spirits, ancestors, guides, something of that sort. Because it's like through the connection of the Knight of Cups, like the Knight of Cups is the trust that they are there, or it's the being able to feel the presence of those things that lie not solely on the physical material plane. Spirits, ancestors, guides, angels, what have you, right? But since it's the night, it feels like it's like a working understanding of them. Like it's active. It's an active knowledge and not necessarily a passive one. Right? Using that active knowledge, this person can sort of do this physical action instead of this person standing off to the side knowing that this thing will lean itself over because the spirits are there to move it. You know what I mean?
And that card actually came out recently.
So for funsies, I pulled the Headless Horseman spread, I think. It's linked in the description box. Back when I was doing like the build with me and I would build a spread, I would use cards to build a spread and then read the spread. Um, this one was one of the ones where I was like, excuse me. I don't know what this is. Can you hear it, Chino? Ooh, thank you. I need that. One second. I thought I thought these were on this one. I guess I could go to a YouTube video and try to find it real quick. I'm gonna do that. Where's my description box? Here we go. It's the warrior spread. Oh, snap. It's interesting that it's the warrior spread because the last time I used the SKT, the sun, which was the warrior, came out. Hold up, wait, let me show you. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. So this is the spread that I'm using. It's in the link in the description. One second. Ooh, she lucky I was on my phone. Or I would not have seen that. Okay. That's the spread that I pulled. Hey Callie, how you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, so these were like I wanted to attach I wish I had a way to like attach the link to the video and the document so you could see like where I built the spread because if you watch me build it, I explain it as I build it. So maybe it would make it make sense. Or it would help it make sense. Um I am actually gonna look at it though. Also, this one like just might not make sense. That's the thing. Because this one I was like, oof, when I built it. Oh, how far I've come. How far we've come. Was it the wings on ancient things? See, okay. So the valorous act noticed is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords came out recently. with recently. It was a minute ago. Like something was happening, and then the owl was like the owl was doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then the seven of swords was this person face to face with the owl. So the valorous act, notice, is coming face to face with this owl at some point in our lives slash incarnation cycles. For tire kickers, wait, I have no clue what you're talking about, but good luck. So this is the thing that was noticed. The transient nature about it is the emperor, which makes sense. And then the burst of regrowth or verdancy is the Four of Cups. But it's interesting that this is here because it feels like it's trapped underwater. And it feels like we don't know how to like get access to it. Which is interesting for everything happening under the water. Like this is where the crocodiles were. That's what the little calf was being kept out of. And it's like there's all this stuff up here, but we want the one under the water. And those look like the plants that were with the Queen of Wands. Wings on Ancient Things is this Page of Pentacles. The Canal to Realization is the Fool. And then the clues to the next life is death. Yeah, I can see why this one wouldn't have made sense. Even. Like it barely made sense when I did it, to be fair. So then that changes things here. So it's almost like the first time there was the tower, right? With the three individuals. And now it's almost like something is being recreated, but the situation is different. There's a lack of understanding here on at least one part. Let me stop. Because there's almost something, it's like, well, if I can go through the motions, I'll remember. This eye has been twitching. Did you see it twitch? Sometimes it feels like it twitches so hard that it closes. It feels like if I can recreate the events that happened, if I can go through the motions, I'll remember. And it feels like that's what this Page of Pentacles is doing. It's trying to like go through the experiences that it previously experienced. But with this Four of Cups, it's like it's not working because this, like the cup is under the water. So it's more than just the situation. And so even if this is in like something in our current like lives. Like maybe we find ourselves in a bind. It's one that's not entirely unfamiliar, so we try to do the thing that we did before to get ourselves out of it, and we're doing the thing but it's not working. It's like, well, I'm doing everything I did before. I don't know why I'm still in this funk. I don't know why I haven't moved on. I don't know why this is still an issue. And this is a 4-4. Both of these are fours. So it feels like this emperor power is inaccessible. And it feels like that's because there's a misunderstanding. Like it feels like there's something particular that we're trying to like recreate because we think that that's the thing that triggered something else, but it wasn't necessarily. It was something else, or it was at least deeper. And that's why it's almost like it would be better to like give up and go about it in a completely different way. Because it's like, again, like this emperor power feels inaccessible. But when we walk away from like doing it this way, do it in a completely different way, we come into the power of being able to transform something. So something isn't understood. It's more than just whatever we think it is. There's a key element, there's a key factor that's missing in this. The fire and the water again. That's been happening quite a bit lately, so I guess I'm not surprised. Your headache is back. Yeah. I hope you get to feeling better, Eve. I hope the fever breaks and you can get back to work and do all the things. I feel like I have not done what I wanted to do. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm like high key grateful for my Saturn retrograde right now. I knew it wouldn't be bad. I knew I'd have a decent time. Saturn's like, okay, like you want to do this, like let's do it. But we're not gonna do this the easy way. The High Priestess and the Minor High Priestess. The Two of Swords is my Minor High Priestess card. And then behind that is the Tower again. And behind that is a title card. This card came out when I used it, and then the Seven of Swords came out. Oof. What's behind the tower? I don't know. It's a title card. It feels like the High Priestess is saying this and. So again, it's like it was more than just the environment. It was more than just the situation. It was more than just the pressure, more than just the whatever. There was something else that also made it work. And then we have the reminder of the tower, which was the first time when we got whatever to be in that emperor position, to come face to face with the owl or the bird. And again, it feels like, because like these people are concerned about this.
This person is concerned about this. And it's like if they were to push this all the way up, this thing would just like if I do that and then it just falls this way, you know? And so in order to keep them from getting crushed by this and this person has to balance it. The title card is my live life and find out card. The title card for me represents anything and everything that we don't have the capability to understand in the moment. And it also represents something that because we don't have the capability to understand it in the moment, if we were to know or be exposed to it beforehand, we would get it completely wrong and we would like mess it up because we just can't comprehend or process or understand the thing yet. So because of all that, it became my live life and find out card. Eventually we'll have the understanding, eventually we'll be able to face it, eventually we'll see it and we'll know what to do with it. Right now we wouldn't know what to do with it. It's like you don't give a toddler $1 million because then they get a bunch of toys and candy and they'd have an upset stomach and more toys than they'll ever play with. Almost. And the high priestess is here. So that doubly, like it doubles down on that. I think it could also be just going to what a tower is. Like this could be us like fighting a tower that needs to happen. Like the tower needs to come down, but we're trying to put it back up. And like, look at it. It's old, it's falling apart, it's missing an entire chunk. Going back to the toddlers and toys, it's like, when the divine takes the teddy bear because they have a new one for us. Going back to the beginning, rejection sometimes very much so is God's protection. If not most of the time, if not all the time. I wouldn't personally say all the time because that's a bold claim. And I, believe it or not, try to avoid making bold claims because it would be the one time that it's just like, it was just free. It was free will, bro. Like they chose no, you chose yes. Just keep moving to find the one that you choose that chooses you, or anything. Ooh, treat yourself. Ooh, solstice at the bottom of the deck. We just had one of those. With treat yourself. So eat all the sugar you want, drink all the water and hydrating fluids you need, get the rest, take it easy. Because this solstice is coming with the arrival. The arrival of something, somebody, some who, someone, somewhere, somewhy, somewhere over the rainbow. The rainbow. I don't know. Just very interesting, very intriguing. Energies. Why does this almost feel like an Easter egg hunt or something? On the high priestess's tablet. It's like find these symbols on. I know the Ankh was on the Emperor card. I remember seeing it. Oh, there's literally one on this tower too. The tower might have a few of these in it if you look at the symbols. This Two of Swords is interesting. Two, ka-choo. The High Priestess and the Minor High Priestess. Enjoy your smoothie, Holly. Who is this? Divination. Again. An entanglement at the bottom of the deck. With earthing under entanglement. See, that goes back to the title card, though. It feels like earthing and entanglement. But then with Nia purpose behind that. Earthing and entanglement of divination feels like that Page of Pentacles. Like it feels like it's because it's so grounded, especially in the experience, especially in reality, it confuses the message of the divination, which is the High Priestess, which is the title card. The things that we don't yet have the capacity to begin to be able to understand. Yeah, I was saying that right. The thing that we don't have the capacity to even begin to be able to understand. And if we encounter it before we're able to comprehend it, we might get the completely wrong idea. And it'd be better for us to be completely left in the dark and to eventually, once we come of age or once we come of wealth of knowledge, experience it or find it so that we get the right understanding. Like it's better to leave us in the dark so that that happens than it is for anything to be said so that we miss out on it. That's how I interpret the title card. Which is, again, why it becomes my live life and find out card. It also feels a little bit like towers aren't things that we choose, they just happen. And so to try to recreate a tower in order to pull on some kind of strength is silly. Because the strength doesn't lie in the tower. And we can't always rely on a tower to bring out strength. The title card is also like live life and find out is also like it's a surprise. You're supposed to find it when you're ready. We're not gonna spoil the surprise. Divination won't help you. It's I Ching number like 5. It's like do not seek further what is it? Do not seek further divination until you are less stupid. I don't know what the I Ching. Let me find it because I'd be like, oof. I'd be like, oof, that's rough. Where the books? Here they are. Is this my Vitruvia book of maps? No. Excuse me, it might be. Egyptian 2. Oh, look at this. I literally just flipped the page. I was on the Two of Orbs, the Nocturne, because I read this recently. And I flipped the page, and you see this? Egyptian 2. Look at this. Where'd she go? Egyptian 2. Oh, snap. Okay. How you doing, Matt? Word for word. What? Oh. I'm, I'm sure it wasn't that blunt, that crass. Is that the word I want? Maybe not. Probably not. Where's the I Ching? Here it is. Is it I Ching 4? Oh, it's literally I Ching 4. When we had the Emperor and that Four of Cups, and it's like trying to dig to that Emperor energy, but it being inaccessible, it's the 4. It's I Ching number 4. I said number 5. I was wrong. I was off. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is how I'll read it in the Vitruvian or in the Revelation edition, Book of Maps too, to see if it was worded any different. But this is how it's worded here. And it's literally mountain over water. Mountain over water is the mountain trigram is above the water trigram to make the hexagram 4. So again, with that underwater theme, you are focused on the wrong inquiry. Title card, High Priestess. Divination does not seek out the inexperienced fool. We saw the fool. The inexperienced fool seeks out divination. Call me out. The divination here shall give no further information unless the inexperienced fool can return with the proper sincerity. You must find the right teacher to learn the right attitude. Be aware of your inexperience. Ignorance is pervasive, yet to err is not evil. It is naivete and a result of inexperience. Do not seek out divination again until you have mastered the teaching. And I'm like, oh, so basically, when I was like, don't come back until you're less stupid, it said don't come back until you're more experienced. It didn't use the word stupid, it said inexperience. But again, that's the thing about the title card. Because sometimes inexperience will have us assuming certain things that aren't necessarily true. So, but then that makes it more confusing. Or maybe it doesn't. Because I'm thinking about those cards. It was the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Cups. It's almost like it was recreating or attempting to recreate a certain tower to experience a certain feeling or whatever. Or it was pulling on a previous tower, trying to glean strength out of a previous tower to face a current situation. And it's like something about that is incomplete. Because again, it's like it wasn't the tower. It wasn't anything that we're thinking of. And so to recreate that situation or to try to pull from that set of experiences from that perspective isn't going to get us anything. Which again, on the other side, coming out of it with the Page of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Death card, it's like it's almost better to just walk away completely and come at it not thinking that we know anything, because in that space we're going to be open to finding the power to transform the situation. Like that's where death is. It's after the Fool. It wasn't like the Page of Pentacles and then the Eight of Pentacles and death. Like it isn't something that we work on. It's not something that we practice. Like, it's like it's almost better to just like get up and walk away from it altogether. And I almost wonder, like the word desensitization comes to mind. where it's like it doesn't affect us the way that it affected us the first time. I don't know. There's a disconnect somewhere. And that's why the cup is still under the water. But it is like it's knowledgeable enough to know like it's not any of these four cups up here. I need the one down there. But it's water under the mountain. I feel like mountains have been coming out lately. Did I read something lately? I feel like I didn't read it. Or it's like experience is the best teacher. I'm pretty sure I did not read that. But I feel like that sentiment or a similar sentiment echoed recently. But I don't remember. I'm not even going to ask how, because it literally just said, do not seek out. Well, I guess, yeah, experience is the best teacher. Like you are an inexperienced fool. But I feel like we would have been an inexperienced fool the first time. Well, I guess that's the point. It's like because we were an inexperienced fool, because we still are an inexperienced fool, it's easy for us to make connections and parallels and conclusions in our own mind. And it's almost like it's one of those things where if you're going through school and let's say you're in a math class and the teacher is like, you have, when you're learning math, you have to learn it in this specific way. And you do math in a completely different way and you lose points. And the teacher's like, you didn't do it the way that we learned how to do it in class. And then you're like, well, I still got the right answer, so it shouldn't matter. Like, as long as my answer is right, then I should get it right. And it's like, no, because it's like in this particular situation, you found yourself in an environment where things lined up to where what you assumed was correct. But there are going to be cases when that's not going to be true. And you're going to be going through the motions, you're going to be doing what you're doing, and you're going to get the wrong answer because something is going to be different. And if you do it the way we teach you, you'll be able to accommodate for, recognize, adjust for the differences. But it's like when we're in the moment, when we're younger, when we're more inexperienced, and we're like, as long as I got the answer right, as long as I got the answer right, why should it matter? Then we come across that moment with the 10 of wands without the other two people on the other side of the tower. And we're trying to pull something, but it's not working. And it's not working because something is different, which is why we should have learned it the way we were taught the first time. And again, like when we're inexperienced, it feels like semantics. It feels like, well, I still got it right, so it shouldn't matter. But the inexperienced fool will one day, if they live long enough, experience that, like, oh, my assumptions don't hold. I can't do this way because it's not working. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything exactly the way I've always been doing it. Why am I not getting what I always got? And then it's like when we come from that space and we reach out for help, it's a lot easier to like reach out for solutions. Like we're still not really looking to learn and that we're just looking for the answer. And then as soon as we get the answer, like we keep going. It's like that energy ish. But I don't know if there's necessarily a teacher there to tell us that we're doing it wrong. That's the difference. I don't know if we necessarily lose points. So we just think that we're doing it right. But again, something is different because that fourth cup, the real cup, was inaccessible. So there's that disconnect to that emperor power. And I Ching 4 said, you're an inexperienced fool. Do not seek out further divination until you gain some experience. Because then it's like, we'll just continue to misinterpret it. And one ear, not the other. So I don't know. Anyway. What is Vedic math? I don't know that. I guess, yeah. Like if that's how it translates for you, then yes. But I don't know if it's necessarily like, I don't know. My brain works in the metaphors of like school and education. So I will say yes. If you get it and that's how it unfolds for you, then yes. My brain does not work in physical activity. So if we're talking about, I'm like, wait, I'm not a like a Ariel kind of Taurus. I'm a I ain't got all those fire placements, so I got a lot of Pisces. But one thing I can do is go to the classroom and sit at a desk and learn in an air conditioned environment, a temperature controlled, temperature regulated, preferably comfortable. Because if the chairs aren't comfortable, if the desk is too small, I'm not going to be able to focus on anything besides how uncomfortable I am. I am the inexperienced fool. Is it okay? Let me Google it so I don't forget. Every time I say let me Google it, as soon as I like finish these, I shut down my laptop. So sometimes I forget. Vedic mathematics, that's a whole thing? What? Quickly and faster. Oh, snap. Well, there you go. I have to look into it. I know sometimes like people do the things where they draw the lines. I've seen it where it's like, what's 13 times 20? And then you draw like, so for 13, it's one line and then three lines. And then for 20, it's like two lines. And then you like, there's like, this is this. And then you circle these and something. And then you get the answer. I'm like, okay. All right, work. Something about this Two of Swords, it feels like it keeps hitting a mirror. Maybe it's like trying to navigate through a fun house or a house of mirrors. And like you think that like, you walk forward and then you bump into a mirror and then you turn around and you bump into a mirror. But see, I feel like that's the thing when we can't experience anything outside of ourselves and reflections of ourselves and distortions of ourselves or different proportions of ourselves. And so it creates like this bubble. And going back to the fish tank, kind of, there's a lot of life outside of the bubble. And we can't necessarily approach things outside of the bubble the way that we do the things inside the bubble. Because if you're inside of the bubble, then that works when everything is you or a reflection of you. But what happens again when you come across someone or something that's not you? You can only see as much in them as you see within yourself, and you might miss out on a whole lot. But again, I don't know. That's just me. Why did I not even notice this red pillar? There's this entire red pillar behind her. It's partially hidden. Her veil is see through, and we still can't see it. I've been focusing on this one. What about this entire? See, I am the inexperienced fool. I'm looking at this, like, let's match everything to here. And High Priestess is like, there's an entire like other column, bro. Like you going out into the world with half of an understanding, thinking that you know everything. Or thinking that you know enough of everything to navigate. And again, I feel like we can get a certain like mileage, like we can go so far, and especially for a time, it was very profitable. And when we're in the environment where all of those assumptions, like if we don't luck out, because it's not necessarily lucky. That's why I'm like, I like working with assumptions. It's like if the environment matches what we assume, then like, yeah, we're right. But again, it's like, what happens when we're not. And I guess that goes back to me. My Saturn return part two is like, there's a difference between being unchained and being free. And at first, being unchained feels like freedom until you've been unchained for a minute. And then you see where you still hold on to some of the things, even though you know that you're not bound. And then it just becomes a game of curious exploration. Perhaps, perchance, per se. I still ain't do that rainbow reading. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. I ain't been live in a few days. I am starting to get kind of warm. This pure white screen is very warm. Maslia, Oracle of Souls. Okay, sure, why not? I don't think I'm going to do the rainbow reading. I'm going to see if Mausolea gives me anything. It'll probably be Vanth again. Keeper of the Lost. You'll have exactly what you need when you need it. So don't worry about it. It's the mercy of Hades that understands that sometimes we can't help but be lost in this world that we're all born into. And it's no one in particular's fault. Oop. Is that the Leopard King? It is the Leopard King and Van. What's the Leopard King? Sword of Law, I think. Hades and Van. The mercy of Hades. Leopard King gone. Ouch. Okay. I think Hades is holding the Biden. Not to be confused with the Trident. Okay. That's an interesting. I'm sorry. I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting question, Patrick. It's fine. I'm just gonna keep going until I get a card. 3. I don't know if I just like brushed my foot against this. I just heard my mom call my name, but I don't think she did. I remember growing up, sometimes I would hear like somebody call my name in my mother's voice typically. And I'd be like, did you call me? And she'd be like, no, must have been your angels or something. Must have been an angel calling you. Must have been God. So we get somebody in the Egyptian domain, the domain of Duat. And it's not someone that I wanted to see in particular. But it doesn't matter what I want. This is English. Okay. But I guess this is interesting. We'll see. It's not Anubis. Set came out. I'm like, really? Set? For real? We're going to do this? So, Set, Prince of Avarice, exiled and isolated. Set plots with outsiders and demons for the overthrow of Duat and to undermine the other gods that dwell there. Concerned for nothing and no one but his own ambitions, he cannot see that his present state of solitary punishment has been brought about by himself and his jealousy. He desires rulership of the realm, even if he must destroy it and all that it represents to obtain it. He has not considered what he will do. Once he has not considered what he will do once he is ruler of an empty, featureless, demon-ridden waste. There's an awkwardly placed comma here. Oh, maybe it isn't. Set warns us of the dangers of unbridled ambition and self absorption, short sightedness, ambition, and narcissism. The bottom of the deck is Danu, the Maestro. Oh, snap. That's a new one. I ain't seen the Maestro. Danu, Mother of Creation. Or Danu. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But she is in the Celtic realm. Is that Anwin? It has the Triskel. Yeah, the afterworld of Anwin. I'm pretty sure. Yep, there she is. Danu is the mother goddess of creation in Anwin, and all of the fair folk are descended from her. She supports all creative pursuits and typifies the benevolent mother principle of fertility, wisdom, creativity, and abundance. However, that which creates a thing also protects it fiercely. Danu teaches us of the double edged sword of creation and civilization. The benevolent mother that nurtures and guides with gentle wisdom, on the one hand, on the other, the ferocious beast dam that will destroy all who threaten those she calls her children. She's motherhood, ferocity, and creation. It's interesting though. So, because before I close my eyes, I'm a weirdo. So, I went to the bathroom, and for some reason, I'm thinking about creation and destruction. And then I close my eyes and I see the rainbow. But it was like, it was that which is created, that which was created blank falls into harmony. That which was, and it wasn't disharmoniously, because I feel like typically we see harmony as um like creation and positivity, and we can see it's easy to see destruction as something negative. And I was just like, well, is destruction ever like harmony? And then it was like that which is created in discord falls in harmony. The destruction of what's created in discord is harmonious. That's what it was. The sunshine, rainbow, or flower tarot. Oof. I feel like I might. If it sounds like if it is what it sounds like, I need it.
I can pair it with the universe has your back cards. I'm like, I need something good to say, and I don't know how to say it. So I need a deck to do it for me. That which is created in discord falls in harmony. Set creates in discord. The destruction of destruction is harmony. Oh, harmony with the maestro. Well, the maestro can bring in discord or harmony. It depends on how the maestro conducts, I guess. But we're gonna go with harmony because why would a maestro create discord? Doesn't make sense. I think also with set, it's like when it comes to maybe there's like an ego gate. Ego gate makes. Oh, I was watching somebody play. I was like, Eagle, Eagle, where did I hear Eagle? I was watching somebody play the quarry. And in the quarry, you collect tarot cards because of the hag of Hackett's Quarry. And she reads the cards. And when it comes to the Wheel of Fortune, she says the eagle eyed can spot where the wheel will stop or something like that. Because she's like, the wheel is always turning and we never know when and where and how it's going to turn. But the eagle eyed can spot where it's going to stop. And I was like, oh, snap. And the eagle, the bird, is the one that eats the snake. It's order that beats out chaos and disorder. Because I've been seeing a lot of like the eagle and the snake or the bird and the snake, like Apep Horus question mark. Set kills Osiris. Isis puts them back together. Horus ends up taking care of Set question mark. I'm rusty. But it's been a lot of that. It hasn't been Set. And then even the bird came out. That was the thing, the Seven of Swords. And that was the valorous act. As soon as Set came out, that thought came to my mind, and then I lost it when I started reading it. That's the thing that was noticed. It's almost like in the absence of intervention. Where are you? Look what's behind the title card. Behind the title card is that Four of Cups. Can't get the cup. See, that's why title card said live life and find out. Because the way you dig and you just breaking nails in hands. Anyway, this is not the approach that will get us what we want. Let me find that Seven of Swords. This actually has two title cards. The Emperor did not have the Ankh, by the way. The Emperor has the Scarab Beetle question mark, and I was thinking of the Scarab Beetle. Right there. There you go. Where's that Seven of Swords, though? I really don't remember what all that was about because the title card was in reverse. And I remember there were some cards. Was it Justice or the Hanged Man? The bird said, "You are not about to get away with this." And then the Seven of Swords came out, and it was like, "Oh snap! This is the person facing the bird." Here it is. The bird is the one that eats the snake. Horus is the one that beats out Set to usher in harmony and order, where Set brought a lot of destruction and disorder and discord and stuff like that. So it's like this is the valorous act notice is finding the bird. Finding this order in the space of chaos, disharmony, and it's the Seven of Swords, but finding that which can set all in order before it was set in order. So it's almost like it would be easy to think that something is triggered by chaos, something is triggered by stress or disorder.
Like, we don't know how strong we are until we have to be that strong, but it's like the strength doesn't come from the chaos. It's like it's already there, and that's just the invitation for it to come forward. But set doesn't do it. I am the inexperienced fool that does not know how to communicate this. Okay. But it's almost like there is no finding the bird. It's like comes to those who are wherever. My brain is literally melting right now. That which is created in discord falls in harmony. That's literally this. That's what came to my mind. I was like, I don't know why I was thinking about, like, I think maybe I was thinking, because no, I think that was later in the day. Later in the day, I was thinking about a Saturn Mars transit, or a Saturn Mars aspect, and how Saturn is good for Mars. Saturn can be good for Mars because it's like it's an outlet, it's a channel, it's a direction. It's not just, it's like it turns a forest fire into a laser. It gives it focus, purpose, and direction. I don't know why. And then I closed my eyes and I saw a rainbow. Hashtag bathroom thoughts. I don't know. Okay, let's put these back. I think selfishness, and I don't even want to say selfishness like fully. It's like it's really easy to be short-sighted when we're only focused and concerned about ourselves. Or it's really easy for us to ignore the impacts of our choices and decisions. And so maybe it's just to be a little bit more mindful. Because I don't know if it's necessarily to not make certain choices and decisions. Maybe it's just like to realize the impact of choices and decisions. And sometimes we have to choose what we have to choose anyway. But because of the new, it's like that which is built in the energy of harmony, no man, spirit, or otherwise can tear us under. Don't ask me. I don't know. I am the inexperienced fool. Excuse me. Is that it? Nope. What do I need? What do I need? I'm gonna ask Bixby to flip a coin. If Bixby says tails, and Bixby always says tails, then I'll end this. Let's see if it says heads now. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right. It came up heads.
I knew it. I knew Bixby was gonna say heads. Literally. 4 out of 4 times I asked Bixby to flip a coin. Tails, 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 tails. I knew it was gonna be heads. I knew it. I knew it. But I don't know what else is needed. I guess I can't. I could ask, like, how do we gain experience? Well, the Fool card came out. So, is there something different? I could do the rainbow spread, but it's already been 2 hours, and it is very warm because of 20 hours of pure white screen just blaring at me. I'm just gonna reach my hand back. Ow, what was that? What is this? Girl, no. We're gonna go for this one. If I can grab it. What is it? Is this the Starman Tarot? It is. It's the Starman. Flower deck? I don't have a flower deck. I should check this out. Do I have a flower deck? Do I have a deck with flowers? I have the Line Strider Tarot. It doesn't have flowers in it. Lenormand cards have flowers in them. I could pull a Lenormand deck. The bouquet, the flower. There's the Dungeons and Dragons Tarot. I don't know what else to do. Maybe I should just end it. If Bixby says heads again, I'll keep going. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin, please.
All right. It came up heads.
Wow, 2 heads in a row. Fine. Lenormand's scary. You're be better off with Mausoleum. Is Lenormand that scary? Lenormand can be interesting to read together. We'll see. We'll talk to Bixby. I'm not surprised, but still low key shook right now. Hi, Bixby. Roll a d4.
All right. You rolled a 3.
3. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right. It came up tails.
Hi, Bixby. Roll a d6.
All right. You rolled a 6.
Okay. I don't even know what deck that is. But of course, it would be the one that's the least convenient for me to get to. I guess I could have said a d6. I forgot about them. No, that's fine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, snap. It's the vice versa. This is a lot of work. It's too warm to be doing all this. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. I see the Knight of Cups at the top of the deck. We had the Knight of Chalices with that 10 of Wands. That I thought, well, I guess it could. Oh, Death is at the bottom of the deck. See. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. You're sweltering. Yeah, it's like hot all over, I think, right now. We K Versa. What am I doing? I'm going to pull 5 cards. Oh, cute. Well, we got 2 cards that we've already seen in the Tarot Nefertari. It's 82. Oh my gosh. So before we had the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, and a tower somewhere. The back of the 5 of Wands. No, this is the front. That's the back. No, that's the front. This is the back. So we got the tower and the 5 of Wands. So this is what the vice versa wanted to give us, apparently. So, and I need the flower tarot. Did you say there's a sunshine rainbow farts tarot? Because I could use that too. I'm like, what is this? Well, because of the face on this tower, I feel like it's time for it to go. Uno momento, please. Okay. Sorry. 85 and getting a bit muggy. You should have stuck with the mausoleum. Right? It was super humid like last week. It was so humid that like the floors inside the plant were getting slippery. But it's like 87 right now and not extremely humid. Not as humid as it was last week. Let's just say that. So the Sphinxes are on the Wheel of Fortune ? I'm actually going to read this one. And it'd be interesting because it's like the eagle-eyed can spot where the wheel will stop. That's the thing that I literally just said, right? And it looks like the lightning bolt is landing on this tower. So this side of the tower Looking at the tower from the other side, as the lightning strikes, we see that it was only a facade, in any case, an empty shell. The two sphinxes of the chariot swim away from the disaster, and the chariot is wrecked upon the rocks. Each sphinx is going in her own direction now, for there is no power of will to direct them. A great mask of vanity and delusion cracks and hangs precariously at the top of the tower.
That which is created in discord will fall into harmony. That which is created in discord will fall into harmony. See, Set don't know. Oh, well, not only does Set not know, but Set also like no. Like absolutely not.
A great mask of vanity and delusion cracks and hangs precariously at the top of the tower. From the chaotic pile of rubble grows one small green tree. There it is. One small green tree that grows.
Is that Danu Mother creation coming in after Set and bit the dust?
When you get this side in a reading, we've seen the broken mask before, behind the gallows of the hanged man. And here are the sphinxes from the chariot. How did they get to the tower, set in the middle of its lonely sea? Look back over the events and choices that have led you to your present situation. Did you listen to your own inner guidance? Or did you thunder along the wrong road, oblivious to your destination? There is nothing for you here, but you can learn from your errors.
And then we see the Five of Wands.
Did I show y'all the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck is the back of the Queen of Pentacles. Just watching it.
With her crow.
Watching this all go down from the comfort and safety of her own throne. These sphinxes belong to the chariot.
I don't know if the Wheel of Fortune has sphinxes in this deck. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a fire drill because,
like the tower was empty. Like there was no substance here. But the fire very much so was real. It's not until we get to the other side, though, that we see how empty it was. Oh, the tower came out in the Astro Matrix Tarot because it had that eye on it. I remember that eye. So are these pretenders? Are they pretending that that castle was something that it wasn't? It's like, oh yeah, like this is great. Like we're so whatever. This almost feels like a card of perspective. It's like if this mountain is erupting into this fiery volcano, do we really have time to be like do these two individuals really have time to be fighting each other? Because if they keep going for too long, that magma is going to reach them, and then there's going to be nowhere to go. There's going to be no escape. So it feels like a little bit of distraction. Potentially. But for some reason, as I'm looking at it, it feels like they're both heading towards the volcano. And it feels like something is being born. Because maybe it's like after this tower, we realize how empty something was. or we realize it could be like if we grow, change, move, shift, journey, but we still hold attachments to some things. It can be something that happens that reveals to us. It's almost that like what we attached ourselves to is no longer there. Either we no longer desire it for whatever reason, or we realize that it never quite had what we thought it had, or what. It feels like it becomes empty. Is this Mama Pele? It feels like this is a very natural cycle, though. With the Queen of Pentacles just sitting on her throne watching, it feels like this is a very natural cycle. I wouldn't necessarily say instigated, but it feels like something that was just going to happen. And so maybe we're going to be coming into a time because Saturn is retrograde already. Jupiter is going to be retrograding. Who knows if Pluto is going to retrograde? I think it might have already retrograded this month or this year. I don't know. We're in Cancer season, which is cardinal water. And I guess for me, going off of what Saturn is highlighting for my retrograde or for my return part two, I keep saying my Saturn retrograde. For my Saturn return part two, it's like, is being unchained the same as being free? And for some reason, this feels unchained and this feels free. This could also be external and this is internal. So like with that Seven of Swords, the girl who finds the owl or the bird, there was something about finding the bird in the midst of like chaos that was special. And so maybe it's like internally somehow we're not, it's like we're solid. So we're not personally as affected as what is sort of like going on externally. This eye up here, this is the reason why the Queen of Pentacles realizes this as a cycle. That's the eye of God, the eye of the divine, the eye of spirit overseeing this. But just because this happens doesn't mean that we have to experience like this side of it. They share the same sky. I think she sent the sphinxes of the chariot. And it's going to be, that's why in the Five of Wands, they're both heading in the same direction. I know here, because you can see his chin and the way his feet are pointed, it looks like they're facing off. But when I pulled it the way I saw it, they were both heading towards the mountain. The chariot is gone. So now we have to bind the sphinxes together with the power of our will. And our will, I'm assuming, is going to be strong enough because, again, we're on this side of the tower, not this side. We're not freaking out, panicking, leaping out of the tower. This isn't one of those. What was it? Was it Orson Welles that did the podcast? The podcast. He did the podcast in 1872. The radio show about the invasion, and people thought it was real. I can't remember. The day after. It's not The Day After Tomorrow. That's a movie. I forget what it's called. But they actually had, like, when I was in the UK, they had a whole thing. Like, it was an immersive experience. And I'm like, oof, if I got to actually move and run and duck. And people were like, there are some places where, like, it's kind of dark and you got to like duck. It's kind of active. I was like, oh, that's not for me. That's not for me. Like, if this was just a 3D movie, like, yeah, if you asking me to get up and do stuff, I can't. I'm sorry. Interesting. But I feel like, again, it goes back to that which was created in discord falls in harmony. But our will has to be strong enough to keep these two sphinxes on the same path. It's making me think of that high priestess, because with her two pillars of hieroglyphs, the Egyptian too, um, and with them being sphinxes, there is no knowing necessarily. There's no certainty. They're sphinxes. It's enigmatic and mysterious and riddly. It's not straightforward at all. But our will has to be solid enough to, even when we don't know, we can keep moving forward. Even when it looks dangerous, we can keep moving forward if we know that that's what is for us to do. So also link into that high priestess, we have to have a certain discernment and, I guess, intuition. I was going to say intuitive ability. We have to have a certain discernment and intuition. We have to have an ear to know when to go, when to stop, when to stay, when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, when to run, right? Count our blessings, because we can't always be betting people's. I do want to pull one of these, though. This is making me think of Get Wild. I really hope Get Wild doesn't come out, but maybe Get Wild is just the card I need to see to know that this is where I want to go. This took an interesting turn, but it very much so feels like the reins are going to be turned over. I feel like in some way that plays into the tempered strength again. Being able to hold the reins and not hold them too tight or crack them to whatever, because the sphinxes know more than we do. The horse is the one actually treading on the ground. So if the horse is moving in a certain direction, it's like we have to know when to keep the horse on path and when to trust that the horse is navigating us in a way to get us to go where, in our destination. That was the thing with the inexperienced fool. The inexperienced fool doesn't know the destination. I don't think any of us are necessarily supposed to, though. I think it's only the inexperienced fool that worries about not knowing the destination to the point that they will purposefully allow themselves to be misled and misguided, as long as they have a direction, as long as they have a destination. It's the inexperienced fool that can't be the experienced fool, which is the one that's able to leap when it's time to leap. Okay. Potentially. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm very comfortable saying I don't know. It's been some real I don't know. It's been some real I don't know days, some I don't know weeks, and I don't know month. It's gonna be a I don't know life for a hot minute. But that's what freedom would mean for me, at least at this point in time in my life. For the one who clung to knowing and all of the toxicity that stagnation and isolation brought his way, who clung to it regardless, it is time to be free. Ooh. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this so much. Happy Tower, grab the shrub and head for the hills, the ones that aren't on fire. I feel like that has like some kind of slant rhyme or something to it. The card that came out is the Seeker. And you know why I love this? It's because teeth in this deck symbolize wisdom. Do not seek out divination unless you have sought experiences or whatever. This is the one that seeks the wisdom first. There you go. So they receive it. I'm going to read that I Ching one more time because the Seeker came out and the teeth symbolize wisdom. So I love that. I love how this ended up. You are focused on the wrong inquiry. Divination does not seek out the inexperienced fool. The inexperienced fool seeks out divination. The divination here shall give no further information unless the inexperienced fool can return with a proper sincerity. You must find the right teacher to learn the right attitude. Be aware of your inexperience. Ignorance is pervasive, yet to err is not evil. It is naivete and a result of inexperience. Do not seek out divination again until you have mastered the teaching. That's a lot of wisdom falling from the sky to open hands. Those who seek shall find. So then I guess the question is, what are we seeking in truth? Because what we seek, we find. Bottom of the deck is surrender. Cute. We got this third eye. Oh. Oops. It's fine. So I'm like, oh, like the third eye. We have this tower card, right? With the eye in the tower. And it feels like for those who continue to, I don't want to say pretend, but for those in the empty tower is going to be set ablaze. And it's like when the eye looks down or looks at this tower, like that's where the lightning strikes. And so for the eye to be looking up in surrender, like lightning will not strike here. And if it does, it won't be as bad. My coworker literally told me about some lady that was walking her dog on a morning walk and they got struck by lightning today. She told me this at lunch. She was like, because she looks at the news at lunch. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, girl, every day you sit up here at lunch and we get upset because of what is in the news. Anyway, she was like, somebody was walking their dog and they got struck by lightning and they did not survive. And I was like, that has to be some real, like, it was just her time. Because what are the odds that you're walking your dog in the morning and you get struck by lightning and that's like the last thing you do? And like the timing to be there in that spot as lightning was sort of like striking. It's like if you had been a second later or a second sooner, like you wouldn't have been in that spot when it happened because lightning is fast. Now, if she conducted it, would it matter? That's not the point. It feels like when the eye is pointed upward, the lightning doesn't strike. It's only when the eye is down that, like, you get the wherever the eye is focused. And in the surrender card, it's like with the surrendering of that whatever, there's no reason for the tower to strike. It feels like a tower that strikes with a purpose. And as long as we need it, you know, it can happen. I mean, sometimes towers just happen too. So it's not necessarily always for a purpose. But in this particular case, in instance, it is. Under that is the Magi. And I was like, we got that same upward pointing eye, but now we get the earth. Now the laurel wreath is around the earth, and we have this Queen of Pennies right here in the clear. This is interesting. So I'm looking at the 6. This is how I lifted up the Queen of Pentacles, and this is what I see. I see the 6 of Pentacles and the top of this 8 of Wands. So it looked like he's looking up at Pegasus. Again, it happens for a reason. This tower is happening for a reason. Looking up at, it wasn't even that much. It was like this. I see Pegasus and the lightning. This is the lightning I saw first. I didn't see that. But it's like this laurel wreath, again with the Queen of Pentacles, knowing something about a cycle. It comes down and it cradles the earth. And then under that, what I first saw was the void. And what I like about the void is I feel like it's giving that title card energy again. Like the void is the reason why we won't know and we don't know. With the Magi, it's almost the space, like it's because it's created. And then under that is share wisdom. And that's when I was like, because that's the seeker, right? Receiving these little teeth and seeds for new beginning, teeth for wisdom. And each new beginning has the opportunity to bring forth new wisdom. Share the wisdom is what the card says. And reflect. There you go. All right, so that's what I got. This apparently needed to be said. I kind of love that though. I kind of love that we see the seeker gaining the wisdom that the inexperienced fool was told not to whatever. It very much so feels like everything that I already said, everything that was said. So it is very warm. I am starting to visibly sweat. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality, and whatever you need along your path, journey, and or way, I hope you find it. I'm going to get a final card from these decks because I got to shuffle them before I put them away anyway. So. Who was that? What an interesting pair of cards. Withdraw and release. Withdraw and release. Oh. So this I leave for you because I'm triggered. Kinda. Low key. So what withdrawal and release is saying to me is, especially when it ties into sharing wisdom, withdraw is to go inside, release is to share at least some of our personal truths in a way. In what way? I don't know. I'm just like, no. I'm a Pisces. My internal sanctum is sacred. What goes on inside of Patrick, I share what I want. Some of it is not meant to be shared. Some of it is for me. Okay. We'll see. Three cards. The bottom of the deck is Ancestors. Thought they would have come out in the All Winter Oracle, but they are here now. One second. The cards that came out: the Creator, Nature, and Get Creative. The Creator and Get Creative with Nature in the middle. That's interesting. Good night, Matt. No problem, Holly. Wait, what did you say? Oh, all right, that. So maybe we don't necessarily have to release it to each other. Maybe we release it into the universe. You know what I mean? Because of the wings. The wings on this hibiscus looking flower and the wings on this 3-stack third eye. So it feels like it might be more of that. I mean, it can also be sharing with each other. Makes me think of Reem, Gates. I can't remember if it was a gate or if it was a channel message between gates. I want to say gate 6, but I'm not sure. Which you talked about the uploads and the downloads and how we can upload stuff to like Gaia and then like other people can download it. It's making me think of that. So we can share our wisdom and release other things to put out there. Okay, cute. It is very warm. Summertime and the living's steamy. Final card from the vice versa, please. I just saw the title card. I just saw the King of Pennies. I think it could have been the front of the Queen. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a light. No. But I'm going to leave those on the table and I'll keep shuffling these. This might turn into whatever is left in my hand that doesn't fall on the table. Because I think I just saw the 4 of Pennies. 4 of Pennies is very interesting right now. Okay, those fell out on the table. If it falls out in a clump, they stay on the table. I'll take 3 at the most. I might end up with 3 cards in my hand because every other card just falls out. Fuck, I can't. There we go. The Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. I saw the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck behind, because behind the Queen was the Six and another card, and then that Eight of Wands that I showed you. When was the Ace of Pentacles? Was I shuffling through the deck? I saw it. And then the Six of Pentacles. That which is created in harmony, nothing can tear asunder. But that which is created in discord will fall in harmony. There's some kind of balance here. It feels like this is the internal balance. This is what we offer the world. Again, it's that the creator nature get creative, like releasing. And then look at the back of his cloak. We got the moon, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Saturn. So the traditional 7 minus the sun. But that makes sense, I feel like. Because reflect. Did I mention reflect? It was also at the bottom, or it was at the cut or something. Yeah, I did mention reflect because no, I didn't mention reflect. Because I think I showed it. I think I did. It had the 2 birds and the third eye looking up at the 2 birds. I still have the deck out. I can show you what it looks like. I can't remember if I showed it or not. Excuse me. It was under like share wisdom and stuff. Reflect was there. I don't think I showed it. There you go. I did know. This is interesting. Well, yeah. This 6 of Pentacles. Wow, I didn't even know. Okay, well, I'm in the dark now, so I can't see the cards. I can't. Let's see if I can get you to see the cards. You see that? Oh, you can kind of see it. That's the 6 of Pentacles. Death was at the bottom of the deck. But it's this side of death. Not this side. That's the side, the traditional side. It's like the rebirth side of death is at the bottom. That which is created in harmony, nothing can tear asunder. So with that, again, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I will see you the next time, whenever, wherever, however.